The Trump administration is planning to write new rules for how it weighs the human costs and benefits of environmental regulations, after a report by the Environmental Protection Agency warned their new energy policy would cause an additional 1,400 premature deaths per year. These changes coincide with the administration's effort to repeal Obama's Clean Power Plan and replace it with Trump's Affordable Clean Energy Rule. These rules determine how the EPA regulates and measures microscopic particles, otherwise known as particulate matter, that are generated by burning fossil fuel. It's this particulate matter that has sparked health concerns, as it has been shown to cause and exacerbate heart attacks and strokes, as well as respiratory diseases such as asthma. The changes proposed by the Trump administration will affect the social cost of carbon, a measure used to determine the economic and environmental impact of carbon emissions. In particular, these changes seek to substantially lower the current social cost. Under the Obama administration, each ton of carbon dioxide caused roughly $50 worth of environmental damage. But the Trump administration is arguing the damage is far lower, at between $1 and $7 per ton. EPA Administrator Andrew Wheeler directed top agency officials to develop the changes, casting them as necessary to eliminate inconsistencies in assessing regulations. This new measure may make it appear that the number of additional deaths will be significantly less than 1,400, even though there has been no change to the proposed legislation. Environmentalists say the agency is altering its math to shrink estimates of how many lives are saved by rules governing clean air, chemicals, and water contamination. According to John Walk, Clean Director at the National Resources Defense Council, the efforts are part of a systemic effort to downplay how much clean air rules help save lives. The Trump administration has repeatedly sought to deny that there are monetizable benefits and lives saved from air quality standards. Advocates for the new change, including manufacturers and other businesses that have chafed against Obama's environmental regulations, say the agency has too often given little thought to the potential price of some mandates and relied on inflated estimates of spared premature deaths and hospital visits to justify what they regard as burdensome rules. Andrew Wheeler shares their optimism, stating that with these improvements to our regulatory decision-making, the EPA is taking another step to provide the public with a more open federal government and more effective environmental and public health protection. Not long after the report was published, the EPA suddenly disbanded their particulate matter review panel, of which had produced the report in the first place, and was previously responsible for helping the agency decide how much air pollution is safe for Americans to breathe. They were later replaced by the 7-member Clean Air Scientific Advisory Committee, led by statistician Tony Cox. At a hearing in March 2019, Cox said the committee had varying opinion as to whether there was a causal link between particulate matter exposure and human mortality rates. The EPA has also proposed limits that would ignore research that cannot be reproduced, or where the underlying data are not public. Public health experts say this would rule out long-term epidemiological and public health studies, such as the Harvard Six Cities study that linked dirty air to shorter lives, and underpins previous EPA anti-pollution mandates. This is not the first time that Donald Trump has put the American economy ahead of its environment. On June 1, 2017, he announced the United States would withdraw from the 2015 Paris Agreement. This makes the U.S. one of the few developed nations to be against the climate change movement. This year, the Trump administration has also rolled back safety measures against offshore drilling, as well as signing executive orders that limits the tools states have to prevent the building of oil and gas pipelines. The lawmaking done during the president's term in office could hamper the efforts of future administrations. Despite mounting scientific evidence, the many dangers of burning fossil fuels, the Trump administration continues to roll back regulations designed to transition the U.S. away from fossil fuels and towards natural gas and renewable energy.